all of us, at least the people listening to this audience, want to make sure that when you buy something, you're buying something that's healthy, and you want it to be clean when it goes into your body. Clean food, healthy food, whole food, clean body, healthy body, works that way. Hot dogs, French fries, no, it doesn't work that way. You're not getting the Vital Life Force, you're not getting vitalism, aside from the fact you're getting denatured food that is dangerous and loaded with bacteria, viruses, and pro-inflammatory. So, we go to the market, and we got the farmer's market. It's fresh. That's good. It's not certified organic. That doesn't mean anything because that's a gimmick. I have been a certified organic farmer. Here's what it means. They come on your property. They examine your soil. They take a look in your shed. They want to see whether or not you're using fertilizer. If so, where does the fertilizer come from? And they take a look at your seeds. Are these heirloom seeds that are organic, or are they not? And the whole inspection doesn't take long, and they charge you for it. And then every year you can expect to get a bill for upwards of $5,000, even if it's your own little tiny backyard and you never take a single product to market. Well, that's just not going to work for most people that have little home gardens, but most don't use pesticides. First, because it's expensive, and second, because it's dangerous and they know it. They don't want that on their kids or themselves or their pets. So you find it at the market. Now, what can you do to make sure that you're eating as healthy as possible? Well, you can wash it. And according to Howard Garrett, known as the Dirt Doctor, he's compiled a number of uses for vinegar, including how to cleanse anything that comes out of a garden. Quote, vinegar is a wonderful organic tool that was discovered by accident 10,000 years ago when wine was accidentally allowed to ferment too long and turn sour. It can be made from many products, including beer, apples, berries, beets, corn, fruits, grains, honey, malt, maple syrup, melons, molasses, potatoes, rice, sorghum, and other foods containing natural sugars. Natural sugars from these foods produce ferment, and that ferment becomes alcohol, which is then fermented into vinegar. The product label will identify the starting ingredients such as apple cider vinegar or wine vinegar. Malt vinegar is made from the fermentation of barley malt and other cereal grains. Sugar vinegar is made from sugar or syrup or molasses. Well, white, spirited, or distilled vinegar is made by fermenting distilled alcohol. And distilled vinegar, white vinegar, is made from 190 proof alcohol that's fermented by adding sugar and living bacteria. Vinegar that is made from the petroleum derivative, 99% acetic acid, is not acceptable in the organic program. The name vinegar comes from the French word sour wine. But it's important to realize that not all vinegars are created equal. Some can benefit your health when taken internally. For example, on cleanses and detoxes, I give people 1 teaspoon of organic apple cider vinegar in the morning with a teaspoon of Manuka honey and 2 tablespoons of ginger juice and the juice from 4 lemons, including the skin and seeds, diluted with some aloe vera, 2 ounces of whole leaf aloe vera that is pure, completely pure, and then you put that into let's say 32 ounces, and you drink that throughout the morning. That is a great cleanser, great detoxifier. So there's a lot of things you can do to clean with vinegar. And apple cider vinegar is a great place to start. And when purchasing apple cider vinegar, you want to avoid the perfectly clear, sparkling, clean varieties you commonly see on grocery stores. Instead, you want the organic, unfiltered, unprocessed apple cider vinegar. Remember I mentioned yesterday, don't go for the oils that are clean. Always go for the murky, brown ones, because that means that they still have their polyphenols. Even if it looks like in the bottom they have kind of cobweb-like substances floating in it, that's good. That is called the mother. And it indicates your vinegar is good quality. So you want the debris, you want the discoloration, you want those little cobwebs. That's what you want, because that's all healthy for you. And Apple cider vinegar, by the way, in other nations has been used to clean everything you can imagine, but it also helps diabetics. There are a lot of good studies in the scientific literature showing that vinegar can help lower your blood glucose levels. In fact, the American Diabetes Foundation publication Diabetes Care found that taking vinegar before meals significantly increased insulin sensitivity and dramatically reduced the insulin and glucose spikes that occur after a meal. So that's good. And also, we have what are called the cures. Now, this is an old folk concept that goes way back, hundreds of years, where you take something because, well, it helps you overcome something. And historically, that ferment would help people overcome the bad bacteria in your gut, especially if you have been taking alcohol or sugar or meat. And by taking some apple cider vinegar 2-3 times a day with fresh water, it helped purge the system, and it helped with a lot of old ailments. In fact, there was a book written by a man named Jarvis called Folk Medicine. And in there he talked about the folk cures, and he said that apple cider vinegar cures a lot of ailments. Well, candida, acid reflux, sore throats, lowering cholesterol, helping with acne, sinus infections. Yeah, it does. It does a lot of good. And also, if I find that my dogs have been running into the sand and rolling over and over and getting sand fleas on them, I simply give them a bath with a aloe vera shampoo, and then I give them a apple cider vinegar rinse. Same with cats and dogs and cats, even horses. I've done it with horses to get the fleas off their legs. And it helps also with arthritic conditions, controls fleas, repels flies, and gives a beautiful shine to their coats. In fact, I had a ranch, my first ranch down in Texas. I didn't realize how dilapidated everything was, but in a pasture behind an old barn that was just a wreck, there was a group of horses that had not been fed in a long time, and it was a mess. I mean, an absolute total mess. And the horses couldn't even get up off the ground. I remember they recognized them because not one of over 47 horses could even stand. Their skin was just hanging. They were so malnourished. So I went in there and I said, "You're not going to euthanize anything." You know, I engaged in animal rescue, and we're going to get these horses back. He said, "It's not possible." I said, "You're right. It's not possible coming as a vet. Let's see if I'm right." Well, 14 months later, every one of those horses was outstandingly healthy, full gained, healthier than they'd ever been. Sanctuary where they could live out their lives in a beautiful terrain and with loving people that almost all these sanctuaries have. But one of the ways that I kept them from being eaten by the fleas all day long was to take apple cider vinegar and spray it and wipe, spray and wipe. So you talk about getting the fleas off, especially back around their backside where their tail is. That's where the fleas really congregate. Spray all that. And it's a natural flea repellent and a fly repellent as well. And by the way, when I've been in the jungles, down in Brazil, for example, I sprayed my whole body. You stink, yeah, so what? And it's a little yucky. Rather have that than have mosquito bites, end up with malaria. Something for our campers in this audience to appreciate. So, apple cider vinegar, you bet. It also helps correct the pH balance on the skin, and that's one thing you can do. But also, you can put that in water. And when you put it in water and then you agitate your fruits and vegetables. Now, which fruits and vegetables do I believe you don't have to buy organic? Top of the list are avocados. I grow avocados. In fact, I have a huge avocado tree, and there's a photograph on my website of someone holding a 3-pound avocado from that tree. In fact, it had just dropped. And they drop smaller, generally when they're about 3 or 4 ounces, dozens and dozens of them. And those are great as well. So in any case, the skin is so thick that it's a natural protector. And that's also true of gourds, like breadfruit, squash, Hubbard squash, butternut squash, spaghetti squash, winter squash. The skins are so thick that they are virtually impervious to most creatures. So the whole idea that you should be paying a whole lot more to get organic when you can get them and then wash them in a bath. Now, you can do two ways of bath. You can use some hydrogen peroxide in equal amounts to apple cider vinegar, and you put it in and you agitate it, wipe it down, rinse it, and it's good to go. Just something can help the people save money, because not every single item. Now, there are things that must be organic, and your leaf lettuces, herbs, yes. Microgreen sprouts, yes. Ideally, the fruits that are heavily sprayed, grapes, apples, oranges, yes.